To get production going, I first had to reevaluate the major issues I had with my previous films and projects. Scheduling was always at the top of my list, making it my greatest priority. Instead of planning, filming, and editing a week before my project was due like last time, I began a week after the assignment was made and started brainstorming ideas to build this opening from the ground up. Doing all the online research and pre production early made the entire process much smoother and gave me far more room to film and edit since I had 3 weeks at my disposal. Thankfully, with this extra time, we were able to navigate through some issues we faced with scheduling for film days since everyone involved had varying levels of busyness in their own schedules. We ended up breaking filming into 5 separate days, making sure that at least 2 people could make it to the set. When our cameraman was unavailable, we still dedicated time to going over fight choreography with both actors, ensuring that we made the most out of our time together. This level of planning, scheduling, and safeguarding made the production process much easier and was far better thought out than previous projects. After the rather last minute character designing phase of my last film, Silencer, I made sure to dedicate far more time and effort into developing costumes and props that properly fit the themes of each character. I also made sure to coordinate better with my actors to combine our wardrobes and form an image that looks straight out of the dark near future of Null Cipher. I took direct inspiration from popular franchises such as Blade Runner 2049 and Call of Duty for my featured characters and purchased most of the required equipment from Amazon. However, some items, like Cole's mask, needed modifications to prepare them for filming. The shininess of the mask's plastic face and the tacky winglets on top were less desirable for filming, as unintended reflections of lights or people would be far more common. To fix this, I hot glued a layer of stocking to the shiny parts of the mask and removed the winglets to reduce both reflections and make my protagonist visually cleaner. I acquired the airsoft replicas of real firearms from my cameraman, modifying the rifle with a laser beam and flashlight taped on top to mimic a scope. The same laser would be used for the scanning scene, just with a nozzle that scattered the light into a pattern reminiscent of sci-fi scanners. Making the body bag prop out of trash bags, duct tape, pillows, and water bottles was a DIY job that was difficult, but ended up being worth it for the shot, since the presented conflict centered around it. Spending extra time in the design process led to an overall better image when filming finally began, a far cry from the casual happenstance of Silencer. Set design to me was incredibly crucial in environmental storytelling and important to nail down since the rest of my film depended on the space I had to film with. I deliberately chose to use my bedroom as it was the most controlled and easily accessible space. My room has 3 layers of blinds and covers to prevent any external light coming in and multiple light fixtures appropriate for filming. Since it's my own space too, I did not have to worry about scheduling with someone else or waiting for a certain hour of the day to start filming, making scheduling far more flexible on my end. Establishing this location sooner than later and building the opening around it streamlined the future production required for the film. Getting the team on board with my vision was also a skill I greatly improved upon since my last film and made filming a much more fluid process. I first began by researching and sketching up character art for the backgrounds of both Cole and SF0451. This helped me and the team build a wardrobe gradually and far before filming had started. To really help the whole team, and especially my cameraman, I combined 2 technologies into one to recreate my set, desired camera angles, and character poses. I used websites called Pose My Art and Home by Me. Home by Me allowed me to create a digital replica of my room's design, and Pose My Art let me manipulate dummies into positions I imagined my actors would take. With some background removal programs, I was able to combine the two into a slideshow that featured dialogue and camera angle indicators to give a step by step procedure of the shots that I wanted in the film, laying out the entire storyboard in an easy to digest, detailed format. This greatly improved the turnaround times for the filming process since we have a blueprint for the shots we needed and direct inspiration for each part of each scene, even if we weren't following it one to one. When filming, we still ran into some small issues with the actors' understandings of some of the action scenes. To remedy this, I stepped in to demonstrate and work alongside them to act out the motions while simultaneously discovering how I wanted each sequence to follow. I also drew some basic drawings and wrote out lists of moves my actors could do during the fight scene after some brainstorming following the first days of filming. The greater quantity of resources of reference made the filming go by so much faster than the poorly planned out projects I had previously completed. Even in the first scene, while seemingly softly lit, there was still some extra lighting needed to capture as much as we could on screen. During the dark scenes, there was much experimentation with lighting. This part took hours out of filming on the first days that we tried to film in the dark. While the raw footage looked better on the camera with true, deeper blacks, capturing both characters in these sequences took far more effort and light manipulation. To fix this, we decided to exclusively use a single overhead light to film these sequences, cutting out much of the strenuous positioning of various lights we had to do beforehand. While not as natural, it was much easier to do it this way and adjust the lighting of the scenes in post with editing. The sound design of my film was also greatly improved from the last run as I put extensive effort into developing a grounded and realistic soundscape this go around. Due to the difficulty of filming and recording audio at the same time, and the inconsistent quality of clip-on microphones, I opted instead to handle all voice acting in post to get more clear recordings. This allowed more flexibility as I had my actors do multiple takes to find the voice that perfectly fit the desired tone I described for their characters.
Oracle. What are we looking at here? Oracle. What are we looking at here? Oracle. What are we looking at here?
I'll elucidate more on the sound effects in the next response to the Creative Critical Reflection, but I must mention the amount it has expanded compared to last projects. I compiled over 70 different sound effects for the opening to make sure that the audience felt every punch, every slam, and every grab in the fight scene, as well as more subtle effects to improve immersion. With Null Cipher, it is much easier to see how far I've come in my production skills overall.